What up guys, good morning. So as promised, I'm here today for another review. Today we're going to be looking at the new Arcadian matte paste. So this is a heavy hold matte cream paste pomade of sorts, and so what we hope to get is kind of a lot of volume, very solid, because if it says heavy then we like a very solid type of like strength or hold, and then being able to kind of texturize it and still be able to get a nice textured loose pump out of it. While we rarely come across texturizing products that have a heavy hold, we see many firm and strong. What we kind of hope to, well, at least what I personally hope to get, is something that is kind of very dense, the texture is very coarse, and what you get is something that can kind of get your hair to clump together but separate at the same time and just keep things back and like they stay that way. But yeah, so we'll figure that out, but of course we'll start off by looking at the jar. So this is the jar. Still has kind of like staying within the Arcadian family type of design work, very font based, very minimal, but very clean still. Arcadian matte paste. You got heavy dry cream. So they went with like black and pink, or rather a black and fuchsia color scheme. Actually, I like it. This is just standard 4-ounce jar, amber glass, directions and ingredients on directions on one side, ingredients on the other, and this time we can see it's a pretty damn significant list of ingredients. It takes up the whole damn side of the jar. Black lid, and opening it up, you see it still has that almost like a Arcadian clay pomade like look to it, but the color is definitely lighter, and you can see like when it was poured into the jar it's much thicker, it's a lot more dense, so we expect something pretty different here. Let's go ahead and use it. Alright, so I totally just messed up. I thought I was recording and I applied the product to my hair. So instead of reapplying it, washing it out, reapply it, we'll just go ahead and talk through it. The scent of this like pomade, it's very like citrusy and piney, not woodsy. It doesn't have that same density, that muskiness that you get with some sort of like woodsy like nature type of scent. So it's more sour, has a little more spice to it, a little more bite, a little more personality to it, and overall it's just better described as like kind of refreshing in a way and energizing, just because it has a bit of like a hop and a jump to it. Scooping it out, it's definitely like one of the thickest like Arcadian products we've ever like used. It scoops out so easily, but definitely you can feel the wax more so, and once you start agitating it in your palms, like it's pretty significant the extent to which like the wax comes out and the grip comes out. So you definitely want to go like small scoops at a time, or else you just it's going to be pretty discomforting to apply it. And also it's going to grip where it makes contact first, so do make sure that like you kind of like go in from the back, kind of like just try to make contact with kind of like the middle of the under area of the pump where you would need that product in order to provide the hold. The surprising thing is actually it is much easier to comb through than to actually apply with your hands, and so I guess we can be relieved that styling will not be like a discomforting experience. It'll be pretty easy and pretty accessible. And we'll just go straight into styling with it. Alright, we'll go ahead and call that done. So the most interesting thing that stands out to me is just, I mean, as the product name kind of suggests, it's surprising how dry of a product this is, despite it being like a water-based pomade or water-based cream paste, whatever you want to call it. Definitely pushes you towards like texture, and it gives you the nice dense coarse texture that I was hoping for. The hold, it's not heavy in regards to like the weight. It's definitely like very firm and like pretty high volume, but I do get what I guess like Eric was trying to go at with the heavy hold. The volume I'm getting is definitely a lot more reminiscent of what I typically get with like a heavyweight like oil base, which I don't understand how that's coming through right now, just because it doesn't seem to be heavy in weight at all. It's definitely very gunky. It's definitely very like dense and thick, just because of like kind of how it feels. But I guess the hold, for some reason, visually does look like a heavy hold. Like it just, I mean, it's like small details, but that's just like what it looks like to me. Overall, the finish I would say is like a touch below neutral. Like you just get slightly more matte than what your hair naturally looks like. Like I said, textures on the coarse side. Overall control, it's pretty easy to style with. I guess the more difficult part is just applying it in the beginning. It could possibly be easier with a slightly more damp hair than what I had, but it's a pretty like thick paste, and so I'm kind of hesitant to say that even the damp hair would have kind of made it a little softer or kind of diluted it a bit. But yeah, so it's looking pretty good. And we'll just go throughout the whole day now, and we'll see how well it performs endurance wise and kind of what it's like to restyle it during the day. But yeah, we'll see you guys in a few hours. Alright, so we're at the end of the day, and I got a headache, or at least an impending headache, so let's go ahead and wrap up this review. What we can really see is the product actually unexpectedly kind of like faded away a bit, just based on the kind of like the density, the heaviness of it. Like I expected it to be more resilient, though it is still present. And I mean, my hair actually didn't get that messed up at all during the day, but just talking about the presence of the product, it did fade away a bit. So the texture, what was that stickiness, that grippiness, that really kind of balanced the texture of this product to really give you that coarse texture, kind of went away. And so what we get is a much finer texture now. Get about half the volume you had in the morning. And overall, so if your hair still maintains the same general shape, but it doesn't really look like a product is giving the shape anymore. So yes, to kind of summarize that up, I know I've been going through a few different points. Like, your hair won't kind of fall into your face. You won't get any sort of crazy like hair everywhere type of thing, but it will get fluffier, it will get softer in many ways. And so I guess upside is that like that grippiness, it doesn't feel as kind of as like just gunky as it did before. Restyling it, you can actually use comb or fingers, as both of them actually work really well. And that dryness, that stickiness that was once before, because it went away, recombing it, restyling it is actually super easy, not discomforting at all. And yeah, washing it out, recommend do use shampoo, will make the process a lot easier, but you can remove it all in one go. So overall, I mean, I remain a huge fan of the Arcadian clay pomade. I love that thing. It is a daily for me. It's something I use all the time, just because I prefer something that's a medium, that's extremely well balanced, or on the lighter side. Now, those of you who complain about the clay pomade for not having enough hold, then matte paste is like a perfect option for you, because you basically get almost as much texture as you would with the clay pomade, but you now have a shitload of hold, and also not just hold, but also some weight and grippiness and density in order to maintain that hold and kind of control some unruly hair. So while my preferences still remains the same, this is actually a pretty damn good option for people who actually couldn't work with the styling pomade or like the clay pomade. So it definitely has its own space, its own welcome space in the Arcadian range of products. But yeah, if you guys are interested, our promo code should work for it. Feel free to use our promo code, the POMP, all caps, on your order of Arcadian. And other than that, take care guys, and peace out. And of course, as I mentioned before in the other reviews, we'll be in touch again during this week for the release of Emulsified Kalamite, our collaboration with All Dudes. But yes, take care guys, and have a good rest of your weekend.